Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Austin. How are you as well?
Great, Andrew. How are you doing?
It's good. We're at the start of a new week here. Let's just start off the basics again and just do a quick update. We were to have Trillium Gold Mines on today, but there was a bit of a mix-up with communications. This is an interesting story. Hopefully, we'll do a follow-up with them. But this is Russell Starr, a great team, not only in finance, but like a geo-technical team. They're right in that Red Lake district, which I think a lot of you will know, Great Bear, that they're there. This is a historic, and when I mean historic, it's a 2.6 billion year old geological setting. So it's truly historic. I think along that whole Greenstone Abitibi belt, it's like 180 million ounces or something like that. This is such a prolific region, stretches 160 kilometers. 2/3 of it's in Quebec, 1/3 in Ontario. It's this huge greenstone belt, and the major camps that some people would know will be like the Red Lake, Hemlo, Kirkland, and then Val d'Or. So this is Red Lake. It's along the same structure as the Dixie project that some people that follow Great Bear will know of, but I don't want to spoil too much. It's a great capital structure, great team, great project, in the right postal code. So we look forward to having some more details on that. And that also leads me into another favorite of mine in that region, and that's Amex Exploration. And they came out with some new high-grade results as well in their Denise property. So that was great to see, 10.63 grams per ton over 9.65 meters. So more details following. They keep on proving up this package. Very exciting. Right now, gold... it's funny because you see a lot of people talking about the gold versus Bitcoin, and gold dropped a bit and now it's creeping back up to 1,800 again. People, of course, want to see, especially in the mining space, want to see gold above 2,000. But this is great territory for a lot of projects. If you have gold and you can use 1,500 as your base standard, this moves a lot of projects forward. So, maybe some of these gold stocks have gotten a hit because gold pulled back a bit. But listen, I don't see things changing anytime in the near future here. We are just, as far as I'm concerned, starting off in this battery energy metals boom, this fiat currency concern, where Bitcoin fits in as well with value and whatnot. But anyways, that's still that same model that I have, and that same product that we're going to have out soon, is that the market, the model, the mindset is understanding what's driving innovation and what's driving us forward for this whole, innovation, green tech, clean energy. What do you call it? The Great Reset, whatever you want to call it. All these things that are being implemented right now, these require a ton of metals and minerals. So that space, we're looking outstanding. We're very positive about it, and I believe it started, but there's got so much room here for growth. You're not too early to be looking, and you're certainly not too late. So lots of excitement here. As far as I'm concerned, there's tons of excitement, regardless if there's a pullback in other sectors. I'm a big fan of this sector. I think it's going to hold a foundation for pushing us forward. But also other sectors of interest. Austin, tell us a little bit about QU Media, Secure, or Globex Data. What's happening out there?
Well, so I think probably the most important thing to touch on first will be with Secure Globex Data is, I don't know if you noticed, but there was another Microsoft hack last week. More data being stolen, 60,000 customers affected, I believe, by this latest hack. It just goes to continue to reaffirm that belief of we need, everyone should be taking certain steps to protect your data, whether that's VPN, whether you're going to be using secure messaging, whether you're using encryption, however you want to go about that. But it needs to be something that everyone's thinking about, because, you could easily fall into that 60,000 people that in that Microsoft hack just last week. And when you continue to see these events happening, it makes it important to look at ways of protecting yourself. And for me, the best kind of way I like to protect myself, my data, is using Secure for messaging and email, because I love the security of knowing it's not being held in a vault in Switzerland. It's not being sold to big companies. Amazon doesn't have my data. They're not holding it over my head at any point. So that's a comforting thing for me to have in my back pocket. And the reason I like Secure and the way they're rolling forward is they're continuing to just hammer home this drive. They've got a Latin America launch, which is rolling out this week. They've got a massive US launch, which is going to be going, I believe it's the 10th of May. They'll be rolling out with that. So there's tons and tons of news, tons of opportunity with this company, and a great path forward as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, talk about scale. I mean, this thing has scalability, and the costs are low because you're doing a subscription model. Most people don't realize, well, they go, well, I want to use a free one. Well, if you're using a free one, then you're giving your data to someone else, and that could be fine for your just everyday chatting. Like, if it's your grocery list, who cares? I mean, that is worth something as well. But everyone, as we move forward, because this ties into this whole future city of the world, this interconnectedness of things, is that we should have the ability to choose who we allow to view what data we send across. And right now, that's not the case. You sign those rights away as soon as you start using whatever platform that FANG has. And that's pretty much who we're talking about. So it shouldn't be that case. It should be that for specific documents, whether you're sending to your lawyer, your accountant, your financial advisor, your trades, whatever it is, contracts, selling your house. I think we just have to get used to and start adopting that some of these things that we really need security should be in like a bank vault. They should be just ours. It should just be something that we hold dear and to ourselves. All the other free stuff, sure, no problem. Send off your chatting apps and whatnot. But it's just a matter, I think, of people just getting used to thinking about this a little bit more critically. That this convenience is wonderful, but at the same time, don't sell yourself short. You give up something for that level of convenience. It's not a lot of effort to use Secure. It's a dead simple app. And it gives you a massive amount of privacy that you don't get otherwise. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that point. It's I'm trying to find what the right word for it would be, but it's extremely important. And I don't know exactly when we all signed up to have our data sold anyways. I guess when we all downloaded Facebook. I wasn't aware of that at the time, but obviously aware of it now.
It's on page 50 of that huge document that they get everyone to sign in the small print.
The one that I'm just like, I agree, because I can't use your thing unless I agree.
You can't use it otherwise. Yeah. And you know what? That's a funny conversation. That's more of a deeply philosophical conversation of, well, we told you that we're going to be using your data. And it's like, listen, there should be some sort of common sense way when you remove the lawyers and you remove all these things that if I want to use your product, I don't need to sign a 70-page document and because that's not realistic that people say, well, we gave you the information. So, well, it's not that complicated. It shouldn't be. And if it is, then there's a specific reason why it is that complicated. And it's taken us this long to find out why it's that complicated, why it's a 70-page document.
Exactly. That you make a great point with that. And then to kind of tie it back to Secure on another angle, for people who are more interested in kind of the financial, the pure company business side of things, I would expect to see some great results. The path that they're using to roll things out, they have the Latin America launch, which I believe went live on Friday. If it's not, it's going live today. That US launch, which I talked about, May 10th. They have a South Asian launch, which is going to fall right into that same kind of time frame. I would expect to see some encouraging results from these guys by mid-third quarter as far as financials go, because they're building in that right direction. They're rolling everything out at this kind of perfect time. And that's super exciting to me as well, if you kind of just want to look at it from a pure business angle as well.
Sure, that's a great point. I mean, looking at the market cap of the company, the cash flow possibilities, once again, the scale. I mean, we're talking like rolling out to hundreds of millions of customers in different regions. Even if it's a 1% adoption rate, that $10 a month, easy math to do. Pretty quickly, you start to see a revenue stream. There's not a ton of overhead and cost. So it is an amazing business to be in, for sure. But once again, it just comes to adoption and it's just about getting the word out there and people getting used to using it. And it's not asking too much, as far as I'm concerned, $10 a month to have privacy. It's not today. It's not at all. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you for catching us up. There's a huge opportunity, not only as a product, but for this company to actually make good money and to grow as a stock.
Yeah, there is for sure. You make the point about the adoption rate. that's something that, especially when you look at how the companies run, the management team, the guys they have involved, it's a tight ship over there. They don't have a ton of overflow. They're cash heavy. They've got cash in the bank. They're smart about how they market themselves and how they promote themselves. So as soon as you start seeing an adoption rate, even like you were saying, even 1% of the available market out there, it's going to be huge revenue for these guys.
And speaking of hitting some marks and milestones and teams and whatnot, we're not shy about being big fans of QU Media, that's for sure. Lots happening here. So tell me a little bit more detail about them picking up some of these big advertisers, because really, at the end of the day, you got to test this model, see if it works. They've been growing, they're getting market share, but people are like, well, where's the revenue? Let me see the revenue. How are you going to make money? And this is the next step.
Well, I think it's pretty funny, too, because I had a friend of mine who asked if we're psychics, because you and I were spitballing just random companies. I think I said Hugo Boss, then you said Pepsi. And 2 days later, they announced Pepsi is coming on board as one of the ad sponsors. I think they announced that Wednesday last week.
Yeah.
Friday, they announced some more. Lipton, Dove, Vaseline, huge companies that are coming on board. So just like you see them hit those ad marker, or sorry, the GRP markers, then you start to see companies coming in for that ad revenue side of things as well. I only see it growing from here. It's such a massive market. Yeah. It's such a great team involved. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. It's just such an awesome opportunity. Yeah. I can't not be excited about it.
No, and for me, it wasn't really that hard, I guess, because it is really Pepsi or Coke. I mean, you're looking at what beverage company that's going to want to hit that market, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be Rolls Royce, right? So yeah, that's not their key demographic. So when you see these staples, these companies that like Unilever, Dove, I mean, all these big staple companies that want to set the tone for moving forward. The growth rates in India are very encouraging, to say the least, and certainly just focusing on the advertising spend, those have been going up dramatically over the years. So there's a huge market there. I don't think anyone would argue there isn't. Someone would certainly bring up COVID, but to be perfectly honest, I see this as being a massive potential company here. People love media. The young people are flocking to this, and so the right advertisers are now coming on board and seeing that. So this train is moving and it's leaving, and it looks very exciting.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on the kind of the skepticism with COVID. And I don't buy into that idea at all, because were you not watching TV before COVID happened? Were you just, were you outside all the time doing things? I mean, I wasn't. I was still watching television. I was still tuning into programs. So no, I don't buy into that philosophy at all. I think there's a very clear path forward, whether or not COVID was a thing for these guys. In fact, I think post-COVID, it has the opportunity to get even bigger from what it is.
And we're in the thick of COVID right now. So I mean, it's been a year into this thing, and they've been growing their business plan. And this is any company that's been building their business plan, hitting milestones and growing. They've been doing this during a year of lockdowns and COVID. So for people to put it on and say, hey, well, what about this? Well, listen, they've been doing it in that space. And once again, Pepsi isn't a dumb company. They're not going to come on board, advertising if they don't think there's any point in spending money. So it's a great sign, and it's one step of many more to come, and it's going to be quite a ride, and it's fun. This is a lot more fun to talk to people about than the very serious business of copper, which is at an all-time high as well, by the way, looking great. And why we need it. There's no education for people to understand why media works. Sometimes there's just a bit of an education as to how does revenue get generated in it, but they've made their case. We know exactly how they're going to, and they're on path. So pretty exciting. This is looking very good. And once again, I'm not talking about trading. I don't really care about day to day. I don't necessarily even look day to day. This is long term. I think if we look back in a couple of years at a lot of these companies we're talking about, it's going to be a very different space, and and this world is transforming quickly. So the sooner you get excited and interested in these things that I see as being these companies are very vocal. I mean, larger, bigger companies, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, governments are very vocal as to where they're positioning themselves for the world moving forward. And I don't think they're kidding. So this bodes well for a lot of the companies we cover, and certainly the sectors and the thesis that we have.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to be involved in the path forward, if you want to help in the process of building these companies, because that's what you're really doing when you're getting involved into these kind of markets with these kind of companies. And it's so exciting. And I mean, even if you want to look at it in a short-term way, I think QU Media is up somewhere near the 20 to 25% range over the last 2 weeks. So even in
Yeah.
if you're talking short-term games, there's a hell of an opportunity there as well. But no, I'm with you on that. This is something that I'm just going to continue to get excited as they turn out more news, and I'm going to look at what the stock price is in 2 years and be like, whoo, hell of a play.
Yeah, and once again, there's not a lot of research or convincing to tell people, like, if it's like, okay, this advertiser came on board. They know the advertiser. They know who it is. It's great.
Exactly.
It's a little bit tougher whenever I say XYZ fund is now inside of some copper play. There's a little bit more education. So this one, it's more intuitive, makes more sense. And same with Secure. People understand daily to day. They use it. There's a bit more education with the mining side as to explain to people that, yeah, you use this stuff daily as well. It's just we need to get your head wrapped around how that fits into this electric future, which copper is the mainstay, really, lithium and copper. So amazing things to come. I'm very excited. I'm very optimistic. It's going to be an interesting summer. And but at the same time, you got to have balance in life, especially now with these chaotic times. And mental health is a big concern. People need to really focus on what's important, and work is important, obviously, and I love the markets. I love my job. At the same time, you have to have an outlet as well. And at least here in Canada, summer's coming. We'll be able to get outside again. Hopefully, Ontario, you'll be able to get outside again. We need to have a bit of connection with people, some bonding, and focus on the positivity of what can come through all of this great chaos and change. And I mean, it's a key term, and it's a triggering term for some with the Great Reset, but that is happening. We've been talking about it on here for quite some time, from beginnings where it was just a conspiracy theory to now where it's just an accepted reference point that even Trudeau's mentioning. Interesting times, very interesting times. But once again, there's a way to make some money, and there's a way to have a mindset to focus, and a lot of that means drowning out most of that media. To be perfectly honest, focus on what you can do in your day-to-day to change your life and to get stronger, and try not to listen to all the distraction, because if you get caught in the distraction, in the noise, in the theater, and the spectacle of it all, it's very easy to get upset. I mean, I can if I spend a minute or two listening to some news, I'll be like, my attention gets changed. So just focus on what needs to be done today for you, for your family, for your surroundings, for your friends. And there's a good shot that you'll come out of this well ahead. So thank you, Austin. Great way to start Monday. Appreciate it.
No,
Any last thoughts?
fantastic, Andrew. You hit the nail right on the head there. And so important to strike a balance. So important to have everything in place to be able to build a future for yourself and the people that you care about. That's the most important thing for anyone going forward. That's absolutely always a pleasure chatting to you.
Beautiful. Have a great day, and take care, everyone.
You too, Andrew. Take care. Bye-bye.